Hello guys, today we'll be seeing a normal circuit pattern that you will learn in the basic days of your flying. Let's try to make a normal circuit pattern which is composed of upwind, then crosswind, then downwind, then base and then final leg. So I will show you how to fly a circuit pattern basically. So you can do the same on one of your initial flights or maybe better. So the aircraft which we have today is a C-172, Cessna 172, which is parked at the end of the runway from where it is called the departure end of the runway. So we will be flying north, as you can see on the left side of the compass over here, and we will make a pattern towards the left, a left hand circuit, and let's see how it goes. So first of all, so as to take off, we select the flaps of the aircraft so as to take off from lower speeds and shorter runways. Then we release the parking brakes. We all do the flight control checks and the checklists, and that is very much required, but this is a step, so I'll be skipping to all that. So we increase the power of the aircraft, and as the aircraft's power increases, there is a left turning tendency on all aircrafts. So to counter that, we slightly give the right rudder of the aircraft so as the aircraft remains on the center line of the runway. That is our goal. So as the speed has reached about 60 knots, I'll rotate the aircraft slightly so as we'll climb, and as you can see, the initial elevation of the airfield was 900 feet. So the circuit altitude is normally at about 1000 feet AGM. So we will slightly pitch down and increase the airspeed of the aircraft. We don't want to be too fast. We'll be leveling off at around 1900 feet. Basically this leg where we just have taken off from the runway, this is called the upwind leg, and we will be climbing to slightly below the circuit altitude. Let's assume that is 1900 for our flight, and we are flying on a heading of 360 degrees. So here we are about to reach our altitude, which is 1900 feet. So we are basically turning our airplane towards our crosswind leg. See, we have turned our airplane towards west, which is 270 degrees, and we are leveling off at 1900 feet. And now we will be turning our aircraft towards the base, towards the downwind leg from the crosswind leg. So we will be able to see the runway on our left from where we have taken off. Let's have a look. So here we can also lower our flaps one notch so as to start reducing the speed. The runway is on the left side of the aircraft that you can see. So here we are leveled off at around 1900 to 2200. We'll try to maintain 1900 for now. Reduce the airspeed and the power a bit so as not to go too near to the runway, and then we will level off the airplane and we'll try to maintain a constant speed. Let's say about 80-90 knots, depending on your airplane it will be different, and Sim has slightly different settings. See, we can see the runway on the left side. We are already at flaps 1. We could have taken the flaps a bit later also, but I am just taking flaps 1 for now. Let's see. Now the runway is on the left side and we are flying parallel in the opposite direction to which we have taken off. This is called the downwind leg, or the wind is coming from our backs or behind. And now we'll slightly try to maintain the altitude. It is much different on the simulator because I don't have a joystick. So we'll try to maintain a circuit altitude and the airspeed. So when the aircraft reaches the end of the runway, we'll start a shallow descent. So about 100 or 200 feet per minute. So once we have to now note that once we reach 45 degrees from the end corner of the runway, we'll start the turn towards our base leg, and we have to keep descending for that. And we will also take flaps one notch more so as to increase the rate of descent. But you see, once I take the flaps, the airplane has a floating tendency, so you have to keep it pitched down. So now we can see that we are about at 45 degrees. So we'll start our base turn towards the runway. So now we have to see whether we are too far, where is the wind coming from, and we have to align ourselves on a profile that leads to the landing of the aircraft. We are taking the final set of flaps. We can do it later as well. So we are basically descending now, and we'll see where the runway is. So the runway is coming up, so I'll make a turn towards the left so as to align us from the north runway for the north runway landing. So as our speed is slightly high, I'm reducing power, trying to get down to the altitude of the runway. It's slightly difficult on the simulator. So you can see now the runway is straight ahead of us, and we are trying to land the aircraft on the center line of the runway. This leg is called the final leg of the flight. I'll go inside the cockpit to show better. So now we are aiming at the 1000 feet markers, trying to keep the airspeed constant at our VAB or the landing speed that we want. So we are aiming for the 1000 feet, that is the boldest marking that you can see on the center of 1/3 first part of the runway. So there we are aiming at it. We are keeping a constant eye on our airspeed also. We don't want to be too slow, as if we are too slow, the aircraft will stall. We try to maintain a speed of 60 knots, and we aim for the 1000 feet markings as we are approaching near the runway, as it is a small aircraft. So we have to reduce our power so as to touch down within the first 1/3 part of the runway. Let's try for it. And if we are not able to touch down in the first 1/3 part of the runway, then we do a go around. So let's try to touch down the plane on this part. So then we apply the brakes, try to keep the airplane on the center line of the runway throughout as to have a safety margin. Then we stop the airplane on the runway. So that is how basically we perform a circuit pattern. As I did have a joystick, so it was a bit crude, but that is how it looks like. Thank you for watching.